Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Unit 6. Today we are doing a little bit of a video for our lesson. So thank you in advance to our sub and to Mr. G and to Jenny for helping out while I'm gone today. But this is the official calendar for Unit 6, solving and graphing inequalities. And we are starting today with Section A. So if you guys look at this calendar, just real quick recap, this is going to take us up to Thanksgiving. We will have one more quiz before Thanksgiving. And then when we get back from Thanksgiving, we'll have 2 review days before this Unit 6 test. And guys, after this, we have one more unit, and it's a really short one. So finals is coming up. And that's about it. So in this unit, we are going to be using Math IXL. Today's lesson will involve Math IXL. And so we want to make sure we stay on top of that. And yeah, it's a lot like solving equations, and it's also a lot like graphing. It's kind of mixed, but instead of equations, we're going to be working with what we call inequalities. All right, so let's get started. Here we are, notes A. So I already wrote in some of these definitions for you, and you can pause the video and write this into your own notes. But what we're going to do to start is kind of compare an equation to an inequality. So an equation is a statement that sets 2 quantities equal to each other. So the biggest thing with an equation is the equal sign, okay? So here's an equal sign, here's an equal sign. Those are examples. And they're called an equation because that means that the 2 quantities are equal. Okay, so again, part of this lesson is reviewing how to solve an equation, which is good practice for your final exam anyway. So when I'm solving an equation, I'm trying to get the x by itself. I know you guys know how to do this, so I will go quickly. So we subtract over 14. So we get negative 5x equals 50, and then we will divide both sides by negative 5. So in this equation, x is equal to negative 10. All right, I know you guys know how to do these next 2 equations, but again, it's just review, so I want you guys to give them a try. And hopefully we'll get the right answer. I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly. We have a 2x plus 24 plus x equals 90. And then we are going to combine like terms. So 2x and x is 3x plus 24 equals 90. And then 90, we're going to subtract over the 24. So we get 3x equals 66. And then we're just going to divide both sides by 3. So x is 22. And solving the last one, again, pretty quick here. We are going to, I'm going to add the 20 over and combine it with the 20 on the other side. And at the same time, I'm going to move over this 4x to the left side and combine my x's. So again, I want to gather my x's on the left side. That's going to give me a 6x. And I'm going to gather my just constant terms, so the numbers, on the other side. So 6x equals 42, divide both sides by 6, we get x equals 7. All right, so we can rewind the video if you need to see that again, but that's just some quick examples of solving equations. Now, in an equation, there is one solution for linear equations, okay? That makes the statement true. But with inequalities, there's many solutions that may make a solution true. So inequality means not exactly equal to, but instead, we compare 2 quantities. So an inequality is a statement where we compare 2 quantities. And we use these symbols, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So I know you guys have seen these before. Greater than looks like this. Less than looks like this. Greater than or equal to has an underline. And so that just means it can be greater than the number or equal to the number, either or. And then less than or equal to also has an underline, okay? So example 1 with inequalities is just listing possible solutions. There are an infinite amount of solutions, but we're gonna list 5 of them. So x is greater than 5. Give me some examples of numbers bigger than 5. Hopefully we're shouting some answers out, but some answers that are possible are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Just numbers that are bigger than 5. Numbers that are less than or equal to -3, be careful with the negative. Sometimes it gets a little confusing. The underline means it could equal. So -3 is a possible solution. Some numbers that are smaller than -3 are -4, -5, -6, -7, and so on. You could say -100 if you want. Okay, so be careful with your negatives because sometimes it's confusing which one's less, which one's greater. X is greater than or equal to 0. We can include 0, and then just any number bigger than 0. So you could say 100 if you want, but it has to be greater than or equal to. And then finally, x is less than 25. You can give me any number that's less than 25. So I'll do some weird ones. How about 0? How about -5, 2, 20, and I don't know, 16. Those are random examples, but you could give me any number that is smaller than 25, and that would be a possible statement, or a possible true statement. All right, so then in terms of graphing inequalities, we're going to use open or closed circles. So if I have a symbol that is just greater than or just less than, okay, no underline, then I'm going to do an open circle on that number, okay? If I have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, so they're underlined, I will do a closed circle on that number, okay? And then I'm just going to draw an arrow to the right or to the left, depending on if it's greater than or less than. So here's an example. X is greater than 5. So the way that I'm going to do this, I'm just going to number some of these. Let's go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this has to be x is greater than 5. So I'm going to do an open circle on the 5. And the reason why it's open is because this is not including the number 5. Okay, it's not underlined. Greater than means any number bigger than 5. So I'm going to draw an arrow going towards the right because that indicates that the numbers are bigger than 5. And there we have it. That's literally just the answer. So what I'm going to do for the next one, I'm lazy. I'm going to copy and paste these numbers here. Put them on the number line. This is less than or equal to. So since there is an underline there, it means we're including the number 5 in our solution. So that's why we fill in the circle. Less than is going to go to the left because it's all numbers smaller than 5, which are the numbers over here. Number 7 is written backwards. So this is kind of strange. I like to rewrite it. So see how the open part is facing the x? I'm going to rewrite it so that the x is on the left side and the open part is still facing the x. There's still an underline, and the -2 goes on the other side. It's almost like we swapped the sign, but really we just wrote an equivalent statement. Now this is -2, so I'll put -2 here. Okay, and again, this is going to be a closed circle because we are including the -2, or it's underlined, and greater than means numbers bigger than, which is going to go to the right. So there we have it. So I am going to have you guys try some examples on Math IXL. So I want you guys to go to the skill. It's in the skill section, letter K. So I want you guys to have about 5 minutes to try to get as many points as you can. After 5 minutes, take a screenshot and put the screenshot in this box so I can see how many points you got. Okay, and then there's one tip here. It says for an open circle, you need to double tap the number. So you're going to tap the number that you're graphing, And then you are going to double tap if you want it to be an open circle. So Mr. G and Jenny can come around and help you guys if you need help with that. And then just really quick, the last example is writing the equation, or I'm sorry, writing the inequality. So if I give you an inequality that's already graphed, can you write it? So all I would do for this one is say, okay, x is going to be less than 2. The reason why it's just a less than, no underline, is because there's an open circle on 2, and it's less than because the arrow is going to the left. Whereas this one is going to be x is greater than or equal to -5, and the reason why it's greater than or equal to, so it's underlined because the circle's filled in, and it's greater than because the arrow is going to the right. After you guys finish your Math IXL examples from above, you can go on to skill number K2, and you can have 5 minutes to try those ones, which is going to be these types of problems. And then again, after 5 minutes, you can screenshot and put your score right in here. Your homework tonight's worksheet A, and that's all, guys. Have a good one.